All right, so as some of you know, we were talking in the last community stream about reaching out to our local communities and trying to be sort of ambassadors for 3D printing technology, and ultimately trying to get the technology and information about this technology in the hands of children, try to help them get into the STEM fields, you know, that whole, like, the whole thing we were talking about last week. It's actually just a day ago. I don't know why I say it's last week. But a link to that stream, if anyone's interested, will be in the description of this video, and I'll timestamp that so it takes you to the relevant point of the conversation, because unfortunately we didn't talk about this until really late in the stream, which in hindsight I think was a mistake. I think being that this was such an important and sort of inspiring thing, we really should have talked about it first, and like I said, in hindsight I kind of regret not doing it that way. But next, it won't be next week, but the week after, so 2 Fridays from now, I'll be hosting the community hangout again, and we're going to revisit this topic and share whatever I learned today. I know you can't really see, but I'm in front of my local library here in the town I live in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in right now. You guys know me, I'm kind of impulsive. I haven't called ahead, I haven't made an appointment or anything. I've got some sample prints here, a spinner, a lithophane, one of the old cable chains that I printed that turned out nice, and I even have the little crossbow and stuff that some of you guys have seen before. But I've got some sample prints here, and I'm going to go in and try to talk to someone about doing anything, maybe some demonstrations or something similar for kids or even young adults after school, potentially in the near future, and we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to go in there right now, try to meet with someone, try to talk with someone, and come back and share with you what happened exactly. So I'll see you in a minute. All right, I was actually just in there for almost an hour. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty happy right now. That went about as well as I could possibly have imagined it would. It just so happened that the very first person I happened to approach in the library when I got inside was the lady who is the director currently, and I basically approached her and said I'd like to talk to someone about doing some demonstrations for 3D printing technology, and she said come with me, and we walked upstairs, and she is actually in the process, more or less single-handedly, of creating a very compact makerspace in the upstairs of the library. They already have a printer purchased. I did take a picture of it. It wasn't a brand or model that I'm familiar with, so I'll have to look into that so I can be of some use for them moving forward and familiarize myself with the machine. But they are moving forward, and like I said, this is almost what appears to be a single-handed effort on her part, which is fantastic. I mean, huge props to her for being the driving force behind this. But as far as I understand, they just got their printer, and they have yet to get, I think she said she has a meeting in a few days to get the funding for a laptop and stuff to service the printer. But they don't have some things. I think one of the things that most places are going to be lacking are competent people who are familiar with the technology to teach others to use it, and that's one of the ways in which I'm hoping I'll be of some use. This machine, it's basically well, I have a picture of it. I won't try to describe it. I do have a pooler of it, but it's a machine that self-loads its filament and stuff, which I think was a good move on their part. It uses cartridge based spools, which, again, I know nothing about it. Hopefully they're not prohibited. Oh my goodness, prohibitively expensive. And I do already have a company or two that was willing to donate filament to help get a program started, and Unfortunately, I don't think that they'll be able to, because this machine uses proprietary cartridges. So I think that's something we should think about as a community if we are going to be, trying to help local groups start a small makerspace or 3D printing outreach program. I think some thought needs put into which machines will be ideal for this, for a number of reasons, like for usability, like the general approachability for people who are like totally new to the technology, and then something that won't be extremely expensive as far as like operating and or repairing it if something does happen. And then if nothing does happen, ideally it would be good if filament costs were relatively low, if you just buy like regular spools of PLA or what I would assume most places are just going to stick with PLA for the vast majority of things they print, just for ease of use. But no, it went fantastically. I'm going to email the woman in charge here as soon as I get home, and we're going to start some basic communications. I know they want to have their sort of makerspace done by the end of June, I believe she said. So the timing was damn near perfect for me to make contact with them. So hopefully in the next few weeks, maybe month and a half, I'll have an opportunity to either bring my machine in and do some demonstrations, or use their machine and start getting some of their staff familiar with it, because as far as I know, essentially no one involved currently has any experience whatsoever with 3D printing. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully that's a place where myself and some of the other people watching this video can be of use to their local communities, because it's like I know personally it's a little intimidating. It's a little tough initially to learn how to use these machines competently when you don't have any base of knowledge that you're starting off of. Like I came into it like completely, like a complete and utter novice, with no information other than watching some YouTube videos and stuff. So hopefully that'll be one of the places where we can help bridge the gap with people that are looking to get started, and help them get started. Sorry, I'm like really excited here, so I'm sorry if I'm like repeating myself or my thoughts are a little jumbled. I get a little manic sometimes, but went fantastically. I don't know if any meaningful contact will be made between now and when we have the next hangout. Hopefully there will be, and if there is, I'll post another update. But for now, went great. This I've already been really inspired based on the conversation we had in the community hangout, but now I'm even more excited about it. I can't wait to get some kids exposed to this technology. Like I was telling the lady, if you take a 5-year and up kid, allow them to mess around in Tinkercad a little bit, customize their own spinner and then print it out, I don't think there's anything else you have to do to sell them on the technology. I think you've got them hooked. And I can't wait to actually put that idea into practice and get some kids to expose myself to some kids, as they say. But no, I'm really excited. If you guys I'm going to reach out a little bit more and see if I can get anyone to support a little makerspace like this, and hopefully this video encourages other people to take the steps to reach out. It's been a lot easier than I was expecting it to be. I was definitely coming into this with the mindset that I was going to have to push, like really push to get anything to happen, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm really excited. Like we talked about in the community hangout, schools, unfortunately, I think are going to be a very different experience than like my library ended up being. It's just like me walking in here and talking to the person in charge. That is not going to happen in a school. There's so much bureaucracy and things like that are kind of part and parcel with with a public school. I guess we do have a couple private schools that might be a little bit easier to deal with. So maybe I'll do a little looking there. Hell, maybe I'll stop there today. I don't know. Maybe that's not a bad move. There's actually a Catholic school that I went to as a kid about 500 feet from here, so maybe I'll just stop there, and if I do, I'll tack that on here and see how that goes. So I'm rambling, I'm excited, I'm inspired. Hopefully some people who watch this are all of those things as well, and I will post any updates and keep everyone informed and hopefully perpetually inspired by the sequence of events that go on here and how things go. So thanks for watching. Apologize for rambling. I will see you in the future with any updates. Thanks, everybody.